This section heading is called Virtual Host. So a virtual host, simply put, is an access control mechanism for Apache. What we're going to restrict with our virtual host is three things. First, we're going to restrict communications to the web server through a single socket, so a socket being an IP port combination. Two, we're going to restrict what URLs can be used when accessing the web server. And then three, we're going to define a new document root. So the document root being our web services directory. So this is the position within the file system that we're allowing our clients to access from the web server. Okay, so the first thing I'm having you do within the lab is to take a look and see what names are associated with a particular IP. So we're going to use the nslookup command for this, and the IP that we're looking to see what names are associated is 10.10.1.112. So we can see that there are two names. We have yourbank.com and then www.yourbank.com. So this is going to be the IP address that we're going to use when essentially restricting it to a socket. So now your Apache installation comes with a couple of templates that you can use when creating a virtual host. So first we're going to change directory to where those templates are stored. So they're inside of Etsy, Apache 2, and then under sites available, you're going to see those templates. So we have one for HTTP and one for HTTPS. So we're going to define one for HTTP. So we're going to do a sudo copy. We're going to copy defaults, and then the virtual host name that we're going to essentially create is going to be web server. So now we're going to use this template when defining our virtual host. So to edit what we just created, and if we wanted to verify that it's there, we can list the contents. So to edit this file, we're going to use nano. So we're going to do a sudo nano. We're going to use that -c option so we can see the position of our cursor within the file, and then we're going to edit that file. So the first thing that we're going to do within here is we're going to restrict communications through a single socket. Once again, socket being IP port combination. You can see by default we're allowed to access the web server using all IPs. So we're going to do 10.10.1.112. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to define what URLs can be used when accessing this web server. So these are essentially going to be the same mappings that we're going to find within DNS. So we're going to do a server name, and then first we're going to do yourbank.com, and then we're also going to have another name. So we're going to have a server alias, and then this is going to be www.yourbank.com. Alright, so now we'll define a new document root. You can see the old one right here, and we're going to say web server, and then down here we're going to define the directory name, which is going to be by the same name. So keep in mind that Linux is case sensitive, so we have capital W and capital S. Alright, you can see the line number being shown down here, and now we're going to save and exit. So Control X, Y to save, press enter. And now the next thing that we're going to do is we're essentially going to verify that our virtual host is working. We're also going to do a couple other things like create the new document root and also read in the configuration changes. Alright. So first thing, let's go to the old document root, which is at var www. Inside of here we can find Apache's test page. So we want to move this test page into the new directory that we're going to create that's going to serve as our web services directory. So first we have to create that directory. So we're going to do a sudo mkdir. The directory name is going to go by the same name, which is web server. And then we're going to move this test page into there to verify on the client side that we're actually, that the virtual host is actually working. So we're going to do a sudo move. We're going to move index.html into web server. If we list the contents, we will only see the directory that we created. The Apache test page is now in there. Alright, so we need to ensure permissions over this, and the simplest way for the support user is just to change ownership. So we're going to do a sudo chown, and then we're going to do this recursively, and we're going to change it to the support user, and then the file is web server. Now we want to read in our, or essentially enable our virtual host, and the way that we're going to do that is with this command. So we're going to do sudo A2N site, A2N site, and we want web server. And we get a message over here telling us that if we want to read this into Apache, then what we need to do is reload Apache. So we're going to do just that. So we're going to do a sudo service Apache 2, and we're going to reload. We get this little OK over here. Lets us know that essentially our syntax was correct. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to just exit. So the simplest way to close this terminal is just to type exit. Alright, so now the next couple steps here is just to verify that our virtual host is working. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to click this tab over here, and then we're going to do a page refresh, and if we're return the same page, which we are, then we know that we're hitting essentially that new document root. So now the last thing we're going to do here is just close the browser.